Hey, what's up? This is Chosen, and in this video, we are going to talk about my building of Baron. Finally, was waiting for CVC to be live to invest a bunch of resources in double dipping to get him built during now, because he is someone that I summoned a while ago, was waiting for him to get buffed or find a use in the game. Obviously, that has happened now with his most recent balance patch, so I'm going to show you how I built him and talk about my thoughts on Baron, show you him in action and all of that. Let's get into it. Alrighty, so one of the cool things about Baron, he can ignore an insane amount of defense. So you've got the Sky Piercer ability that used to be a secret ability, but now we are going to be ignoring 50% of the target's defense on an AoE ability while also ignoring shields, which is amazing in the arena. Obviously, you can just blast through their shield and their defense. Amazing for champions like Valkyrie to just absolutely obliterate them off of the battlefield. And we start with 50%, but we can also add on a Savage set to get that up to 75. And then we can do something like a Mastery of Helm Smasher to get that from 75 to 100% to ignore all of the target's defense. Now, that means I could probably do a little bit better of a choice by going with a different filler set than Cruel, because there's going to be some times where I get Helm Smasher procs that I'm not getting utility out of the ignore 5% of enemy defense, but I am still getting the 15% attack, which is great for someone like Baron. And when it comes to crit damage gloves, I didn't really have a better option that fit into the build, like a 6-star crit damage piece with 19% crit. You can see that I've got the 102% crit, so I can't lose more than 2% by using different gloves and moving stuff around, but it is something I will keep an eye on. You could always try out a different set to use to take advantage of the ignore 5% defense somewhere else on your roster, because we can actually max out Baron without it. Then the stats ended up shaking out pretty squishy, but we were able to get 6,100 attack, get him up to 209 speed. We did go with attack percent boots and the 100% crit, the 218 crit damage, and I wasn't really worried about the accuracy or resistance. I want him to be a glass cannon that can absolutely nuke people out of the battlefield, which means we go with an attack banner, a crit damage amulet, and then it was kind of nice to get the blood shield ring, because he can stack a bunch of shield based on doing all of that AoE damage. It would also be great to get a reaction piece, but I did not have one sitting here at my disposal. For the Masteries, I think everything was mostly self-explanatory. You take the crit rate, and then you swing to the left, and then swing to the right. All of these Masteries can really be great for somebody in an arena nuking context. You could also go with a shield damage increase, but on someone like Baron, it's not going to help him for his AoE nuke. It would only help him for the other abilities that he has that do not ignore shield. So I just went with the crit damage, and then the more damage while at full HP, and then some of the other ones that synergize super well. I don't get a whole lot of utility out of the support tree. Lore of Steel, we're using a 4-piece set, so mitigates that a little bit, and we might as well go down and get the decreased damage on critical hits, and then get some hard hitting counter attacks, because he is a high attack, high damage champion. So we went with that on the Mastery setup. Then we can talk about the thought process on using him in battle. I think he's going to be great versus high defense teams. So a team like this, where you've got the Mythralla buffing up the defense, and then you're obviously going to have Syl and Norog as high defense champions. Well, you bring in Baron to completely obliterate all of that defense. It doesn't matter if they've got 5,000, 7,000 defense, whatever. That's fine. We're just going to have our Baron ignore all of it, and they're going to be low HP. They probably have like 40 or 50,000 HP, and we just send in our Baron to completely blast through all of it and do a bunch of damage. Let's go ahead and do that. And here comes our Baron nuke right here. So you can see that they've got the defense up on all of these high defense champions. Let's put it on ×1. And let's do our Sky Piercer here, where we're going to ignore shield. So you can see that they've got the shield right there from the Brogni and all of that, but we're going to completely ignore it. And we're also going to ignore all of the defense on these high defense champions. So we do that, and bang, we are able to do like 115,000 damage on champions that have like 40 or 50,000 HP and completely obliterate defensive teams that are in our way by ignoring those massive defense numbers. Now, this one here is going to be an interesting fight. We've got Duchess on both sides. We've got Baron versus Candrafon. We've got the buffers in Mythralla and Lydia. And then we've got the utilities of Warlord and Nekarit with the insane Ally Protect. And the powers are mostly even. So what I'm going to do is we're going to have fun with this. I'm going to leave it on full auto. And let's see how Baron ends up shaking out versus Candrafon as the featured damage carry here on these two different teams. And oh no, I made a move, so my Warlord didn't do the right ability, which was almost disastrous. Yeah, I swapped in a Lydia for this fight, and Warlord did not do the right thing by doing the lockout. So was almost really bad, but we were able to prevent the Duchess revive, which should buy us enough time, hopefully. We get the, yeah, that was clutch. I'm leaving it in full auto and just seeing what happens. Candrafon hits super hard. So it could get a little bit rough, but he's not going to ignore shield, so... There we go. Baron taking down the Duchess. And now we should be in a pretty good spot. I think we'll be fine, especially because we have the speed buff from the Lydia, and they don't have any way to kind of snowball with all the buffs and stuff that we've got going on. And obviously, now it's just cleanup crew on the Mythralla. Now, this could be another fun situation where they're probably going to have a ton of shields. They've got the Mountain King. We've got the Baron that can ignore it. Let's go ahead and swap in Krisk for fun. We'll take out the Warlord and try something else here. We've got a bunch of shield going on versus the massive nukes that Mortem Macabre can do here with the Peril. There we go. And bang. And then we're going to go ahead and blow him up. Yep, we get the Unkillable, and that was super smooth. So yeah, that is my build and how I'm kind of using him in the arena. I'm excited to build a few different tag team arena teams. When I was traveling to TwitchCon and stuff, I kind of laxed in the tag team arena a little bit these last week or two, getting ready for all of that craziness. So I dropped down. I'm gonna have to fight my way up and build some teams here again and get after it in the tag team arena to get ranked back up. But I think they did a really good job on adjusting Baron. I think he's really fun now. I think he's got a cool role in the game, and I think it's a balance change that they did really well on. Sometimes they're hit or miss. Sometimes they are super underwhelming. Sometimes they go in a weird direction on it, but this was one of the times I think they did a pretty good job on making a champion really fun to use and have a really cool role in the game. So let me know down below what you think, how you're using Baron, and what you think about all of that. I've recently slid him up a lot on the Void Legendary Rankings tier list. As you can see right here in the S tier, I kind of had him in a similar vein to Leorius as those high damage dealers in the arena. But previously, Baron was like down here somewhere. You know, most people would have had him ranked somewhere in here on the Void Legendary tier list, and now he's gone all the way up here, where most people would have him ranked somewhere in like, oh, I don't know. I think this is a pretty good consensus of where most people would have him. Maybe somewhere around like in the 8 to 14 range of Void Legendaries is probably where most people would have a Baron, from who I've talked to and who I've asked and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. Had a lot of fun building him during CBC, and gonna look forward to using him more in the arena for sure. So remember to subscribe on your way out if you enjoy daily Raid Shadow Legends content, and I will see you soon in the next video. Thanks for watching. Peace.